This is Support is Sexy, episode 181, with Lesley Pyle, CEO of HireMyMom.com. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm so excited to have you here. You know it just would not be the same without you. And happy Monday to you. Thank you for joining me for another great week of fantastic interviews with inspiring women entrepreneurs. And our guest today is Lesley Pyle. And Lesley is the founder and CEO of HireMyMom.com. And I actually heard about Lesley or heard an interview with her on another podcast that I listened to called Tropical MBA. You should listen to it. It's fantastic. And I really fell in love with just the concept of Lesley's business, HireMyMom.com, which pairs moms, but really anyone who wants to find work that works with their schedule, whether that's working from home or needing some kind of flexible schedule, and pairs them with employers who are looking for the same. I just love the idea, of course, of women supporting women, but also women creating a way for other women to control their own narrative, control their own time, just really have control of the things that they want to do and create in their lives. So decided to reach out to Lesley, and we were able to get her here. So on this episode of the podcast, you'll not only hear about how Lesley built her business, but also she talks about growing the business, transitions, challenges that she faced in her personal life and within her business, which she actually started 20 years ago and then started Hire My Mom 10 years ago. So she's had a long time as an entrepreneur to really experience some things. So on this episode, what you'll learn from Lesley, go for what you know inside that you can do, even when you're not sure how. You know, I always say, let go of the how. Never shy away from the quote unquote big opportunity just because you don't think you'll get it. How to tap into the needs of your audience and clients. How to get the word out about your business. Sticking with your niche. Also take time to consider your next move. And that means whatever that looks like. Think about it, pray about it, talk to some people about it, but take time to consider the next right move. Also, how to make sure you have a unique offering for your customer, knowing when it's time to adjust your business model, how to get through the challenges in your business, and the importance of building your network. So I know you're going to enjoy this episode with Lesley. Great information in here. So without further ado, Lesley Pyle. So Lesley, thank you so much for joining me for an episode of Support is Sexy. I'm excited to have you.
Thank you so much, Elayne. It's my pleasure and privilege to be with you.
Absolutely. So first question, when did you first fall in love with entrepreneurship?
You know, I'd have to say I'm kind of an accidental entrepreneur, and I know I'm not alone in that. But I started out basically out of my own need to work from home. I had just finished my master's degree in PR and marketing. And about, I guess a year later, I had my first child. Mm-hmm. Did not realize at the time how strongly I would feel about not leaving her every day for 8 to 10 hours. And that's what kind of set me in motion to look for other options, because as much as I wanted to follow the career path that I had originally planned to do, it just wasn't setting well with my mama's heart. So after going back to work for about a month, I just couldn't do it. I, talked to my employer, felt badly, and really was open to any options they had to allow me to work at least part-time from home. But this was 22 years ago.
Right. I was going to say, were they open to it at the time? Because people weren't talking about it as much.
Yeah, it wasn't as widely, that was even before, dare I say, the internet had caught on. Mm-hmm. So it really wasn't an option. And so from that point on, I knew that I had to find something to, we had just bought our first home and we had expenses. I knew that I couldn't just cut my job out completely. So that's when I started my journey on being an entrepreneur. I first started out doing freelance work for clients. One at a time, very, very slow process. And And we had to make some major budget cuts to even do that, just to be able to afford for me to just take on a few clients at a time. So we, sold one car. We had no cable TV. We ate ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly and all those sorts of things to really make it work. And after doing that for about 6 months, I knew that I was not alone.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the internet hadn't really caught on. This was in 95. And so I began looking for a support and networking group to help moms connect to each other, learn from each other, buy from each other, kind of like a chamber of commerce, but for moms working from home. And when I didn't find anything, I launched Home-Based Working Moms, which was my first entrepreneur company. And I still have it today, although it's very, very 1% of what I do. Because times have changed and that need is not nearly as, it doesn't meet the needs the way we need today. So the internet, I started with my website there, and there was only one or two websites at the time for moms working from home. So I've been doing this for a long time. My oldest is 22 years old, so I can always or how long I've been doing it by her age.
Right. Now, speaking of that time, you said you knew you weren't alone. How did you know that you weren't alone? Because as you said, the internet wasn't as well, there was information there, but it wasn't as much about social and that kind of thing there. What was it, just something in you that knew that I can't be the only one going through this at that time?
Yes, it was that. And it was just talking to other people I knew, other moms that were either working or not working and wanted to be able to work from home to earn income, or wanted to leave their full-time job to work part-time from home. So I knew the need was there. I just didn't know how originally to bring us all together.
Mm-hmm. Now, where did you grow up, Lesley?
I grew up in Tomball, Texas, which is a suburb of Houston.
Okay. And what was a young Lesley like?
Let's see. A young Lesley was, I would say inquisitive, a hardworking student, always took pride in doing well in school, and pretty independent. We grew up lost our father when we were when I was 13, and my mom raised me and my two brothers, one older and one younger, on her own. So we had, very little. She was a blue collar worker and did not make a ton of money. So we really had to provide for ourselves, buy our own cars, buy our own prom clothes, buy our own school clothes and that sort of thing. So it gave me a drive to, really better myself and want to be able to do more. There was no one in my family had ever been to college. So not only a first generation college student in my immediate family, but also in my extended family. So I never even really thought I could go to college until a man that I was dating right out of high school knew that I had just been laid off as a secretary when I was, 19 at the time. And he encouraged me to go to college. And I said, well, I can't. I don't know how. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how. But, it's not that complicated. So I basically just needed someone to hold my hand and say, yes, you can do this.
That's right.
It is possible to get loans and grants and work your way through college. So that's what I did. I was able to put myself through college in 4 years and graduate at the top of my class. So that taught me a lot about being, hardworking and just going for what that you can do. You just sometimes you need somebody to believe in you.
And someone just to plant that seed, because you were already a driven person, it sounds like. And like you said, very focused on doing well in school, but you didn't have that concept of I can go to college and do, et cetera. It was just someone needing to plant the seed. And as you said, hold your hand, which is sort of what you do through your work now.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was, a huge change in the direction of my life, because I don't know, as simple as it sounds nowadays, that you could go to college without your parents helping you. Mm-hmm. Or at least kind of saying, you can do this, but you're going to have to do it on your own. I didn't even know that I could do it on my own. That's how, I guess, sheltered I was.
And then you got your master's in Scotland, right?
Yes, I did. And that was a huge blessing. Like I said, I finished at the top of my class at Texas State with a degree in journalism and public relations. And I was looking for a way to get my master's degree because right out of college, I could not land a PR job. Just, every time I got close, I'd be number 2 or number 3 or number 4, or it wasn't the right fit. And it was really frustrating. So I thought, well, maybe I need to go work on my master's degree. So by then I knew that there were scholarships out there. So I started looking, and this was again before the internet. So I went to the library and looked through the books on scholarships and found the biggest one I could find. And then I thought I'll work my way down. It just so happens that I got the biggest one I found, and it was through the Rotary Foundation, and it was a scholarship to study anywhere in the world, fully paid. You just had to pay for your spending money. They paid for you to get there, for your housing, tuition, and books. So it was an incredible opportunity.
Wow. I love that you went down the list, but you still went for the biggest one.
Yes. You never know, do you? Unless you try.
You never know. That's right. So then you thought, so you were thinking about, or you did go into a career in PR, as you told us earlier. Then you had your child, your daughter, your first child, and then everything changed. So at what point did you decide that that you were going to create a business out of this idea of working from home? I know you had the home-based working moms, but when did you decide to create hiremymom.com, which is your business now?
Yes, Hire My Mom, I started 10 years ago, and it just so happens that I was pregnant with my third child when this idea came to me. And it was because working from home was becoming so much more accepted and so much more common. And I knew there were tons of moms looking for freelance type work or work from home jobs. And I also knew quite a few small businesses that were looking for help. You know, their business was growing and they needed help, whether it was with their website or with email or setting appointments, whatever it might have been. So my idea was just to connect the two, almost like Match.com, but for businesses and, independent workers. And so that's when I started this website. And it's been, such a great way to connect these two, because most of the businesses that post with us are small businesses and entrepreneurs that don't want a traditional office. Some of them have traditional office, but a lot of them work from home and prefer to have virtual either employees or freelancers work for them.
What was the first step for setting up the business when you decided, okay, this is something that I'm going to create?
Well, I'd already been through it once with Home-Based Working Moms, so I knew, all the steps to take as far as the business name, securing the domain, getting the website set up. But this website, one thing I learned with my first website was times had changed and so had technology. So I could no longer do my own website. Right. It was so much more complicated than I knew how to do. And I knew this one was going to have a lot of back-end functionality with databases and that sort of thing. So I began looking for the web developers and that sort of thing to get that rolling. And I was very fortunate to have that PR and marketing degree, because that was instrumental in me getting the word out and getting some great publicity when I was launching.
That was going to be my next question. How did you get people to know about it? I know you knew, as you said, a few small business owners and some people looking for work, but was publicity the way that you sort of let people know that this existed and then they started signing up?
Yes, and I had some great media contacts from my first website and had proven, to be sort of a pioneer, I guess, in the industry and someone who had been working in that industry for quite a while. So it was nice to be able to send those same contacts what I'm doing now, as well as just, sort of a blanket press release that went, to various magazines and newspapers, TV stations and such. A lot of that, has, again, changed, where a lot of the PR now that you get is through the internet and through websites and blogs and podcasts and that sort of thing. So if I were doing it today, I would probably have to change my direction a little bit. So again, technology keeps changing. We got to keep up with it.
Exactly. Now, we all talk about finding your niche, and you certainly have found yours in focusing on moms. Do you find that it was or that it is smart for you to stick with focusing on moms or serving moms?
I think that has been my niche, obviously, for the past 22 years. But now, as I'm growing, as my business is growing, I'm not necessarily thinking that has to stay my focus. Where I think now there's a lot more opportunities with these small businesses and entrepreneurs. So I'm really kind of praying about what direction and how can I improve what I'm offering to these moms, but also these small businesses and entrepreneurs.
I love that you're praying about it. I say pray about it, meditate, sort of ask the question or live the question, as someone who's been on our podcast said before, Pat Moreno. Sort of be open to receiving the answer.
Yes, because I know I don't always know the best. I need that
Right.
divine intervention.
That's right. I know that's right. So, what have you heard moms say that have been some of the challenges for them in finding work? And how does hiremymom.com help?
I think one of the biggest challenge I hear is that, they're not getting a job right away. And, there's always, you have to dig a little bit deeper, because does that mean they are not qualified? Does that mean their resume is not, up to par? Does that mean they're not including a customized cover letter? Or does that mean they're only trying, once a week and applying for one job, versus someone who's had their resume either professionally done or, had it looked over, making sure their cover letters are customized to that specific job, doing your research just like you would in a job in the traditional market, and spending a little time every day until you find that job. And also being qualified. If you don't have the qualifications that you're seeing are needed, get some training. I mean, there's tons of training options online these days where you can grow and learn more about social media or blogging or, WordPress or whatever it is that you're interested in doing.
And speaking of that, on the site, I would imagine the women are of all different levels of experience, right? It's not just people who are sort of looking to, quote unquote, keep busy. These are women who want to work.
You have everything from, your basic virtual assistants all the way up to, we've had attorneys and people in the legal field, accountants, web developers. So really a vast array. Is
the primary thread the flexibility that everyone is looking for?
Yes, I would say that's the number one goal that most of these ladies are looking for, is just the freedom and flexibility to be able to work your own schedule. And, 22 years later, that is what I love the most too, because let's just face it, we all have life and we have different things going on, whether you have kids or whether you're married. Stuff comes up, your parents, your family, vacations, you name it. There are always interruptions to an 8 to 5 job. And I love that if I want to, I can work in the evening to make up for something, or on the weekend. I try not to do that often, but I love that I can. If I really want to spend the day with my girlfriends and go to the spa, I can.
You can.
Don't do that very often, but I know that if I want to, I can.
That's right. Now, for our listeners listening, for our listeners who may be interested in finding out more about hiremymom.com, of course, they can go to the website. But how does it work exactly? Is there a fee, and is it only for moms?
Okay, first of all, it is not only for moms, but obviously that is who we target, and that's who I think our website appeals most to. But we have had dads join, and we've had single ladies join, we've had grandmothers join. So, we don't ask for your driver's license or your family history. Anyone is welcome to join and apply. And I don't know if employers, I'm assuming, me as an employer, I don't care what sex you are, as long as you're qualified and you do a good job.
Right.
And then how our current business model, and I say current because I'm, again, open to different options at this point, 10 years later, but currently job seekers pay $29.95, so basically $30 for a 3-month membership, so about $10 a month to get the job leads. And businesses are able to join for free and post jobs for free. And I did it that way 10 years ago because even though working at home was becoming more accepted, I needed to get as many jobs as I could for these moms, because I knew if I made membership free for moms, I'd have 10,000 moms join. Yes, let me find work at home. And I might, if I charge the employers, I might have, 5 jobs.
Right.
So you can see that wouldn't work. The balance would not work. Now there's a little bit change in our, just the way our economy is and how businesses are more willing to hire. So we're looking at changing that business model. And I'm really seeking advice and input from those that I know, just to see how can I improve this service. There's things I'd like to do with the website, but when you're not charging very much for a membership, you don't have the biggest budget in the world.
Mm-hmm. And how do you suggest people go about getting to that stage, or getting through that stage where, as you are, sort of thinking about reworking your business a little bit? Because sometimes I think we get stuck in doing what we've always done and might not even realize that, hey, I need to take a look around and see if there's another way that I can do this or offer the service better or grow and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I'm at right now. So that's why I'm going to a couple of employers that have used my service for a very long time and absolutely love it, and refer, business coaches and that sort of thing that have referred tons of clients to me, because I really don't want to do it the wrong way. So I'm seeking advice and input from that section of my market, as well as just other entrepreneurs that I know, other business owners I know, because I'd really want to make this a win-win for job seekers, for employers, and really be able to offer, there's a lot of websites now out there that you can go to for freelance, but there are none as, I want to say, boutique-ish as Hire My Mom, because we don't have, 50,000 people on our website looking for work, and we can make it more personal. So I'm just trying to find the best way to do that that's a win-win for everybody.
Excellent. What would you say that you're most proud of about your business?
I'm probably most proud that I've been able to do it. Even I had a season where I was a single mom for about almost 5 years. And it was so nice to be able to still be at home and work from home, because that was a difficult stage for me and my kids. And to know that I was able to carry us through that period. And then shortly after that's when I launched Hire My Mom, and just to see how God's blessed that, even though there were tough times and lean times, it's just been, it's changed how my outlook on business and parenting, and just given me such tremendous opportunity to do both of the things that I wanted to do, which is follow after my career, but also not allow my children or my family to, to have to sacrifice for them.
One of the things that you talk about in your personal testimony, I was reading it honestly and almost moved to tears. For everyone listening, I'll link to it. But you talk about that journey on home-based working moms, that personal part of your journey of going through your divorce, and what a sort of a surprise it was for you, but how you kept moving through that.
Yes. Yeah, it was difficult, and there were days I didn't want to get up and work, or even get up and take care of my kids. But, God got me through. And, I was stronger after it, but, oh, goodness, I don't want to go back to that period. That was a dark, hard time.
Right. And that was before your business, you said, or after? After you launched Hire My Mom?
That was before Hire My Mom.
Okay. And then it was after that and getting back into things that you launched the business.
Yes.
Right.
After I had remarried and was pregnant with the Hours baby.
Okay.
So she's now 9 years old.
I love how so many milestones in your life are tied to when your children were born. And sort of like, I went through that 22 years ago. I remember, because today's her 22nd birthday.
Yes.
A quote, Lesley, that I saw posted on your social media. It said, quote, "If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you," end quote. So I was curious, is there a challenge that you faced in your business or otherwise that changed you, as we sort of talked about? And if so, in what ways?
Yeah, I would definitely say, the spot I'm in that we've already discussed, so I won't rehash that, with just, the business model. And that's very challenging to me right now. But in the past, I've also been challenged with, I've hired 2 different web companies in the past. Well, more than that, but 2 in particular that did not go well at all, money spent and not been delivered. So I would say that's been very challenging, to learn how to find the right web developers that are not only going to do what they say, but are going to carry through and finish the project. So those are a couple of challenges I've faced, as well as competition. Like I said, when I started my first website in 95, 96, there was only one other website even, and I don't even know if she was online before me, but it's wham.com. But we were the only 2. And then when I started Hire My Mom, there were a few freelance websites, but now there's just tons. And it's, a learning process for me to say, you've got a good idea. You might want to, like I've thought now, I really should have a business partner, because I could really take things further with someone who balances out my strengths and weaknesses, and someone who is stronger in areas where I'm weak, and that sort of thing. So those would be definite challenges that I would say have been, caused me to, I guess, get out of my comfort zone and press forward.
I think it's so smart too to think about what you said about. Well, first of all, thank you so much for sharing those with us. I know it's hard sometimes for us to share our challenges, especially when we're in the middle of them. Yeah, but I think it's smart though that you're thinking about a partner, whatever that looks like, because we're all about support is sexy around here, but sometimes I think we struggle through things alone, perhaps longer than we even need to. And
Yes.
a partner, again, whatever that looks like in different ways, partner, mentor, whatever it is, or support for your business could be just the thing that helps you move to the next level.
Absolutely. I truly believe that. The trick and the hard part is finding them.
Right, exactly. So speaking of that, then what are you doing to find that person? Sort of letting people know that you're looking, or what's been the strategy for you?
Yes, I don't have a great formula, so I'm open to input. Okay. I've just been talking to people I know saying, this is what I'm thinking about doing. And last year I met a investment banker, and he was a wealth of information, for me, but no solid contacts were made. It was just a great learning curve. So, I think we have to use our network, and unfortunately my network is not as big as I would like it to. So just getting the word out through, trusted entrepreneurs and people that, I think would know people or be able to make some good suggestions.
Right. And letting people know, as you're doing, letting people know what you're looking for. I found for me, that's been the best way. It's sort of, you mention it, you tell people what you're thinking you want to do, even if you don't know exactly, and that could lead to something else, other conversations.
That's right.
Excellent. So what would you say, Lesley, has entrepreneurship taught you about yourself as a woman?
I would say it's taught me, along with my upbringing, that I am very independent. I had to go through a sort of rough childhood. Well, I'd say pretty rough childhood, and then went through a dark season, during a divorce that I didn't want, and then starting a business. So I think being an entrepreneur, those things have been to my benefit in a lot of ways, because it's caused me to be strong, independent, sometimes too self-sufficient. My husband now likes to kid me that I like to wear the pants. So I don't want to. I try not to, because in marriage I want to be under my husband, just because I want to respect and honor him. And if he makes a bad decision, I can throw it back at him.
You're right. It all comes back to that.
That's right. But there's a lot of things I think that you can learn about yourself as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. What does your support network look like?
Like I said earlier, I wish it was better. I've tried to find some networking groups that really are relatable to what I do. But I guess has to be more of a virtual thing, because I haven't found, face-to-face networking to be a huge support for me, other than just friends who are entrepreneurs and friends who are business owners and that sort of thing.
Do you belong to where are you now? Are you still in Texas?
Yes, I'm in Spring, Texas, which is just north of Houston.
Okay. So do you belong to any entrepreneur groups out there, or are there not many where you are?
I have not found any.
Okay. I would love to have you be a member of I have a Support is Sexy mastermind, and it's women all around the world, all different industries. And we just, ask each other questions, share ideas and all of that stuff. It's on Facebook. So it's just a Facebook group. But yeah, I would love to have you in there for, what you do. I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in that. But I just think it would be great for other women for you to connect to as well.
Oh, yeah, that would be wonderful.
Okay. I'll send you an invitation. Great. Yay.
Thank you.
All right. Fantastic. So in closing, Lesley, if you think over your life and career and you had the chance to thank only one person whose support was critical to you personally or professionally, who would that be and what would you say?
That's a good question. Let's see. On the human level, I would have to say my husband, because he has been incredibly supportive of whatever it is that I want to do. He may challenge me to think through some things, or try to redirect me if he doesn't think it's the best. But I value his experience, his expertise, and his opinion, even if it's not always the same. It's great to talk to people. It gives you other things to chew on and think about, because a lot of times I think I can get in a one-way zone and forget about other ideas and options. You get so focused on something that it's good to have people speak other ideas and options to you. But I'd have to say, above all that, I'm a Jesus girl. Mm-hmm. And that's probably where I feel like my life has been most influenced. It's just through my relationship with him and growing through tough times and just, learning about his attributes. And that's what I want to model: the peace, the goodness, the kindness, the compassion, the integrity, the joy, the patience. So that would be my ultimate.
Excellent. I love it. So tell us how we can support you. I will have links again to everything and your social media, but tell everybody listening the ways that we can support you and your business, and then where we can find you on social media, just so they can hear it.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, you can go to the website, hiremymom.com. I also have a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest account for Hire My Mom, and all of them are listed under Hire My Mom. I also have my personal Twitter and Instagram account. So I'd love to meet some of you ladies. I love Elayne, and this support is sexy because it's not only sexy, but it's beneficial to everyone. And I really believe that when you're a giver in business and you do what you can to help others, that it's returned to you tenfold. So I just love to meet other people and see how I can help them as well.
Excellent. And what is your personal, you said your personal social media? What's your personal Twitter?
It's Lesley Pyle.
Oh, it's just your name. Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we will have links to all of that. Lesley, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. I'm going to certainly follow up with you after this with some ideas or connections and resources, but it really has been great. And I love Hire My Mom. In fact, I signed up, for everyone listening. I signed up when I heard about you on what did we say? What podcast? It was Tropical MBA. Tropical MBA podcast, one of the many that I listen to. Everyone, I'll link to that as well. But when I just heard your story and what you've created and about the company, I said, oh, I'm going to sign up because I obviously work from home and have plenty of time to do writing and media, and those things are my specialty. So I was interested to see what was there. So yeah. I really love the site, what you've created, completely support you, and want to see you win.
Thank you so much, Elayne. That's so sweet of you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now, before you go, what's a parting piece of advice from you to our listeners about anything?
I would have to say, don't lose sight of why you start your business or why you want to start your business. I think sometimes, and I found myself in this place, your priorities can get out of line. You can focus too much on your family and not enough on your business, or too much on your business and not your family or your marriage or your kids or your health. I think it's just important to do a self-check every now and then. Make sure you're still on task to why you wanted to have this business, and are your priorities in line.
Excellent. Lesley, thank you so much. Hold on just a second. All right. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Lesley Pyle. She's wonderful. And for more information on hiremymom.com, of course, you can go to the website. But to find out how to get in touch with Lesley, find out more about her, what the company is doing, to follow them on social media, and to be sure to find out more about all of the resources mentioned in this episode, go to supportissexypodcast.com. Just search Lesley, Lesley. Her show notes page will come up, and you'll see all the information and links for you listed there. Also, as you heard in this episode, we talked a lot about support, which, we're all about it around here because support is sexy. But what I want you to do is to also go to createsomething.sexy.com. It is the link for the new mastermind that's launching this spring. I want you to take a look and see if it's a right fit for you. Masterminds are a great way to get around women and people who support you. This one in particular that I'm starting, the Create Something Sexy Mastermind, is all about putting you in an environment with women who want to see you win. Women from different backgrounds, different experiences, different stages of their business. All kinds of opportunities open up when we surround ourselves with people who are moving in the same direction, even if they have a different business idea, moving in the same direction, sharing information, supporting each other, and wanting to see each other win. That is how you will experience success. You cannot do it on your own. Trust me, I have tried for many years, for all my life, as a matter of fact. Support is sexy, and having it all doesn't mean doing it all alone. So we want to get you around some women who can help you move forward powerfully. The mastermind will include group coaching calls, one-on-one calls with me. We'll bring in some experts to talk to us about mindset, productivity, goal setting, self-care, which is so important, all the things that you need to move forward in your business and your life. CreateSomethingSexy.com. Again, check it out, see if it's right for you. If so, just click the button and I'll send you a simple little entry form to fill out so I can find out more about you. If it's not right for you, find some place that is. That's what this is all about, right? Supporting everyone with moving forward and creating the things that you are meant to create in this world. Not doing the things that you're supposed to do, doing the thing that you're meant to do. That's what we want you to do, whether it's with me or someone else. Get around some people who can help you move forward, who believe in you, and who can support you. That's what it's all about, because support is sexy. All right, so thank you as always so much for listening. Hope to see you back here tomorrow, or hear you back here, have you back here. Hope to have you back here tomorrow. And until then, you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.